Hello and welcome to the episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions from daily current affairs to help you understand how to read current affairs for exams. So this is the previous question of the last segment for practice. Consider the following statements. Braille is a tactile writing system which uses 6 dots to represent each alphabet and number. Article 47 of the Indian Constitution provides protection to persons with disabilities, and the subject of relief of the disabled and unemployable is specified in the state list of the 7th schedule of the Constitution. We have to select the correct statement or statements. First is correct, second is not, because instead of Article 47 it should be Article 41. Third is also correct. So the correct answer should be 1 and 3, that is option C. World Braille Day has been observed across the world on January 4th since the year 2019. The day commemorates the birth anniversary of Louis Braille, the inventor of Braille. Braille is a tactile writing system which uses 6 dots to represent each alphabet and number. The dots also represent musical, mathematical, and scientific symbols. The system is important in the context of education, social inclusion, freedom of expression and opinion, as noted in Article 2 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Article 41 of the DPSP states that the state shall make effective provision for securing right to work, to education, and to public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness, and disablement within the limits of its economic capacity and development. And the subject of relief of the disabled and unemployable is specified in the state list of the 7th schedule of the Constitution. Moving on. Consider the following statements about Indo-Israel Relations. India is Israel's largest trade partner in Asia and 7th largest globally. Operation Breathing Space was conducted by Israel to work with Indian authorities on the COVID-19 response. The Indian Armed Forces have inducted the Falcon Awards from Israel. So we have to select the correct statement or statements. All the 3 statements are correct. The correct answer is option D. Recently, the Commerce and Industry Ministry said that India is in dialogue with Israel for conducting a free trade agreement. The announcement coincides with the 30th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Israel and India. India is Israel's 3rd largest trading partner in Asia and 7th largest globally. And both the countries currently have USD 4.14 billion of trade. If we talk about the data, it's from April 2020 to February 2021. And Israel has been among the top 4 arms supplier to India for almost 2 decades now, notching military sales worth around USD 1 billion every year. The Indian Armed Forces have inducted a wide array of Israeli weapon systems over the years, which range from Falcon AWACS and Heron, Searcher Second, and Herop drones to Barak anti-missile defense system and Spider quick reaction anti-aircraft missile system. In 2020, an Israeli team arrived in India with a multi-pronged mission, which was codenamed Operation Breathing Space, to work with Indian authorities on COVID-19 responses. With reference to nuclear disarmament, consider the following statements. India has neither signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty nor the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. So, first, and it is followed by the second. Recently, the G7 countries, ahead of the review of NPT 1970, have pledged to prevent atomic weapons spreading and to avoid nuclear conflict. So we have to select which of the statements is or are correct. First is correct, second is not. The correct answer is option A. Recently, the 5 permanent United Nations Security Council members pledged to prevent atomic weapons spreading and to avoid nuclear conflict, which was made in a rare joint statement ahead of review of the NPT 1970. The statements come as tension between Russia and US have reached heights rarely since the Cold War. Over a troop buildup by Russia close to Ukrainian border, NPT is an international treaty whose objective is to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and weapons technology, to foster the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, and to further the goal of disarmament. The NPT and the CTBT are 2 of the most important global efforts towards nuclear disarmament. India has not signed any of them. Moving on, with reference to the open source software, consider the following statements. It is a software that is distributed with source code. It allows anyone to modify the software to best fit their needs. So we have to select the correct statement or statements. Both the statements are correct. The correct answer is option C. Recently, the GitHub, an open source software repository service, was used to create and share an offensively named app that sexually harassed a woman in India. Many women actually. Muslim from the Muslim group. Open source software is a software that is distributed with its source code, making it available for use, modification, and distribution with its original rights. Source code is the part of software that most computer users do not ever see. It's the code computer programmers manipulate to control how a program or application behaves. It's typically including a license that allows programmers to modify the software to best fit their needs and control how the software can be distributed. Moving on. The idea of making source code freely available originated in 1983 from an ideological movement informally founded by Richard Stallman, a programmer at MIT. Examples are Linux, Mozilla, Firefox, VLC Media Player, and Sugar CRM. Consider the following statements regarding the Konyaks. The Konyak are the largest tribe, followed by Ao, Tangkhul, Sema, and Angami in Nagaland. Aoling Monu is one of their significant festivals celebrated in the first week of April. So we have to select the correct statement. Both are correct. The correct answer is option C. The Konyak are the largest tribe, followed by Ao, Tangkhul, Sema, and Angami in Nagaland. Other ones are Lotha, Sangtam, Phom, Chang, Khimungam, Yimchungre, Zeliang, Chakesang, and Rengma. The term Konyak is believed to have been derived from the words Wao, meaning head, and Nyak means black, translating to men with black hair. They can be grouped into two groups. Thendu, that means tattooed face, and Thento, meaning white face. The three most significant festivals were Aoling Munyu, Animo, and Laun Ungmo. Aoling Munyu is celebrated in the first week of April after sowing of seeds, and this marks the beginning of the new year. Its religious significance is to appease God for a prosperous harvest. The Onyumu is celebrated in July or August after the harvest of the first crops such as maize and vegetable, and Laun Ungmo is a Thanksgiving festival and is celebrated after all agricultural activities are completed. With reference to the Attorney General of India, which of the following are correct? Term of office has been fixed as 5 years in the Constitution of India. Procedure for his/her removal is stated in Article 76 of the Constitution, and AG has the right to speak and take part in the proceedings of Lok Sabha only. We have to select the correct statement or statements. None of them are correct. The correct answer is option D. The Attorney General for India recently made yet another pitch for increasing the age of retirement for judges for higher judiciary, and he has been a vocal advocate of increasing the tenure of the judge and has constantly spoken about it at every farewell of Supreme Court judges since 2017. AG of India is a part of the Union Executive. AG is the highest law officer in the country, and Article 76 of the Constitution provides for the office of AG in India, and the term of office of Attorney General of India is not fixed by the Constitution. Remember that. Procedures and grounds for the removal of AG are not stated in the Constitution because he or she holds office during the pleasure of the President, may be removed by the President at any time. Rights and limitations are such as she or he has the right to speak and to take part in the proceedings of both the houses of the Parliament or their joint sitting and any committee of the Parliament of which she or he may be a member, but without the right to vote. Moving on to the next statement. She/he does not fall in the category of government servant and not debarred from private legal practice. Consider the following statements with respect to the production-linked incentive scheme for textiles. Incentives worth Rs 100 crore will be provided on production to the sector over a span of 5 years. This scheme will be available only for companies who are willing to invest a certain amount in technical textiles. So we have to select the not correct statement. First statement is not correct because incentives worth Rs 10,000 crore have been given to the sector for a span of 5 years. And not only companies but individuals are also welcomed to invest a certain amount in technical textiles and any other textile that are covered by it. So the correct answer is option C. Textiles Minister Piyush Goyal has said that the production-linked incentive scheme for textile sector will increase the global footprint of the country's production, and the Union Cabinet approved the PLI scheme for textile in September 2021. This is a part of the overall announcement of the PLI scheme for 13 sectors made earlier during the Union Budget 21-22 with an outlay of 1.97 lakh crore. It aims to promote the production of high-value man-made fabrics, garments and technical textiles. Incentives worth 10,683 crore will be provided on a production to the sector over a span of 5 years. Incentives are given in 2 phases. Any person or company willing to invest a minimum of Rs 300 crore in plant, machinery, equipment and civil works, excluding land and administrative business costs, to produce products of MMF, fabrics, garments and production of technical textile will be eligible to participate. And investors willing to spend a minimum of 100 crore will be having the same conditions, shall be eligible to apply. Moving on. Consider the following statements with respect to National Cadet Corps. H.N. Kunzru Committee recommended the formation of it. It was expanded to include the Girls Division in 1989. It falls under the purview of Ministry of Defence, so we have to select the correct statement. First statement is correct, second is not, because Girls Division was introduced in 1949 and it falls under the purview of Ministry of Defence. So first and third are correct. The correct answer is option B. DG of National Cadet Corps, Lieutenant General Gurbir Pal Singh, formally inaugurated NCC Republic Day Camp 2022 at Delhi Cant yesterday. The Republic Day Camp is held at the culmination of one complete year of training of NCC cadets and is conducted at Parade Ground, Delhi, Cantonment from 1st to 29th January every year. NCC was formed in 1948 on the recommendations of the H.N. Kunzru Committee and has its roots in the British-era uniformed youth entities like University Corps or Universities Officer Training Corps. Its history can be traced back to University Corps, which was created under the Indian Defence Act of 1970 with an objective to make up for personnel shortage in Indian Army. It also expanded later to include Girls Division in 1949 in order to provide equal opportunity to women who are willing to serve the country, and it has the strength of around 14 lakh cadets from Army, Navy and Air Force. It is the largest uniformed youth organization in the world. It also enrolls cadets at high school and college level and also awards certificate on completion of various phases. It falls under the purview of Ministry of Defence, which is headed by the Director General of 3-star military rank. With respect to the IHU variant of COVID-19, consider the following statements. It has been linked to the African country Kenya. It has been labelled as a variant of concern by WHO. So we have to select the correct statement. Both are incorrect. The correct answer is option D. While the world is grappling with the outburst of the Omicron variant, with a very high transmissibility rate, scientists and experts in France have reportedly identified a new variant of COVID-19 termed IHU, which is said to be more mutated than Omicron. Nearly 12 cases of this new variant have been reported near Marseilles and has been linked to African country Cameroon, not Kenya. The B1640.2 or IHU variant was first identified by the academics at the Institute IHU Mediterranean infection and contains 46 mutations, and it is new variant. This can be a major threat. However, the cases have not been reported so far in countries other than France and is not labelled as variant under investigation. Leave about variant of interest or concern. Moving on. The concept of Nai Talim has been proposed by which of the following historical icons? The correct answer is option A, Mahatma Gandhi. Addressing the Silver Jubilee celebrations of Mahatma Gandhi International Hindi University, Wardha today, the Vice President recalled that the Nai Talim proposed by Mahatma Gandhi in Wardha in 1937 is very significant. Nai Talim is a concept promoted by Mahatma Gandhi, and it states that knowledge and work are not separate. Stating experiential learning or learning by doing is one of the most effective methods, and it is a holistic approach of developing body, mind and soul by making a productive art, craft or community engagement activity as the center of learning. Moving on. Consider the following statements with respect to the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act of 2021. Pregnancy basically can be terminated up to 20 weeks by a married woman and in case of failure of contraceptive method or device. Okay, if that happens, it can be terminated. Opinion of the state level medical board is essential for a pregnancy to be terminated after 24 weeks in case of substantial fetal abnormalities. So we have to select the correct statements. So yes, first and second both are correct. If there is a case of substantial fetal abnormalities, it can happen that a person who carries the fetus beyond 24 weeks can have the opinion of the state level medical board to terminate it. First is also correct. The correct answer is option C. In a noteworthy judgment, Delhi High Court allowed a woman to terminate her 28-week pregnancy because the woman produced reports that the fetus was suffering from a rare congenital heart disease. Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act of 2021 suggests that a pregnancy may be terminated up to 20 weeks by a married woman in the case of failure of contraceptive or method or device, and for unmarried women it's the same. Opinion of one registered medical practitioner for termination of pregnancy up to 20 weeks of gestation is needed. Opinion of 2 RMPs for termination of pregnancy between the range of 20 to 24 weeks and above 24 weeks. Opinion of state level medical board is needed. It increases the Act also increases the upper gestation limit from 20 to 24 weeks for special categories of women such as survivors of rape, victims of incest, and other vulnerable women, differently abled women, minors, also others. Let's move on to the practice question for the next segment. With reference to state election commissions, consider the following statements. They are governed mainly by the Representation of the People's Act of 1950. In preparation of electoral rolls for local body elections, it is necessary to coordinate with the Election Commission of India. So we have to select the correct statement. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.